Grab your pile of scrap strips and let's turn simple lines into something beautiful. Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm Jackie and I love using scrap fabric to make Quilt-As-You-Go blocks, scrap fabric blocks, and other scrap fabric projects. In today's video, we're working on day 4 of our scrap fabric quilt challenge. Today, the prompt is stripes. Use strips only, straight or wonky, it doesn't matter. I'm simply using leftover strips and I want to keep them between 1.5 to 2 inches. I'm going to create 4 string blocks, and those 4 string blocks will be assembled together to create one quilt block. It's going to be like having a quilt within a quilt. Before we get started today, I just wanted to share something from my heart. I'm not an expert in sewing or quilting. You've probably figured that out by now. And that's completely okay. This channel is not about perfection or fancy techniques. It's about inspiring you to try, to create, and to take a little quiet time just for yourself. Every stitch can be peaceful, even if it's a little wonky. For each day in this challenge, a new prompt will help you explore your creativity. Anything goes. I do have a free prompt sheet for you to download, and that link will be in the description box below. There are no individual instructions for each prompt. Just make them however you want to make them. Each video I will share how I'm taking the prompt provided and making a quilt block with that. It's only for inspiration. We want to go 30 days without any patterns. We just want to do a little bit of improv. And remember, there are no rules, no perfection. Let's get started. Let's go over the materials you're going to need for today's prompt. It's really easy. You're just going to need your strips, 1 to 2 inches wide, but you can make yours as wide as you'd like. Let me get rid of this pile. You'll need 4 pieces of 6.5 inches wide foundation fabric. I'm just using an old piece of muslin. If you wanted, you could use the newspaper print paper or anything like that. I just found it was easier to use the fabric. We are going to be making these. How fun. Each one will be different. I left one undone so that I could show you how we're going to do it. So that's 6.5 inch square. You will need 1 piece of batting, 12.5 inches square, and a backing 12.5 inches square. We are going to square this up to 12 inches. You will need scissors. If you want your roller, you can get that. Your rotary cutter, and basic sewing notions. And the first thing you're going to do is simply grab out of your pile your first strip, whatever you want to use. And we're supposed to just grab something, right? But we always end up saying, oh, do I want to use this one or that one? Did I already use this one? It doesn't really matter. We just need something that's long enough to go along the length from here to here. So I think I will use this one for my first strip. And I did start a basket for just tiny pieces along the side here. And then I need a second piece, and I'll just make sure that it's long enough this way. We'll go ahead and cut that. I think this was a piece from yesterday's project. And then I'm going to cut it down And we're not worried if we're straight. I'm just gonna cut just like that. Put this strip to the side. This will go right sides down on this strip. And we're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance right there. And I'm simply going to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way down. I did place my strip in the center on the corner, but if it's a little off, it's perfectly fine. Then all I'm going to do is flip this up and press with the seam roller. It's that simple. I will give this a press with the iron as soon as I'm all done with the block. Next, I just want to find another piece of fabric, just like this. You can make these any width you'd like, and I'm simply going to lay that one there, 1/4 inch seam allowance. These go together really fast, as long as you don't spend time picking out fabrics like I tend to do. Flip that up, use your roller, just like that. Then I need one little piece for right there. That one is not wide enough, so let me see what I can find. Maybe this one. So if I lay this down, right sides together, and I flip it up, I just want to make sure I have enough to cover that corner, and I do. So that's going to be a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And just like that, one side is done, and we'll just press that. Next, we're ready to begin working on this side. Let's see what we can find for over there. And don't be afraid to use white, like a print. That one just isn't long enough, but I may save it for the next one. But here's a piece I think I can use, and I will just cut that. And then that one will go there, 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'll snip this to make it easier. And then we've got another one done. And we'll simply flip that one up. And no worries about all this excess. We're going to trim that off. Then we just need to find another piece, and I think this white one will work, and I'm just going to use a really thin line. I know my background fabric is white, but anything goes, right? And it's really thin, but I think I'm going to like that. You could do these blocks with really thin strips. It would truly be a string quilt. There we go. Then I need to grab another one. Let's see what else we have in here. We could do that. You could have this side 2 inches, this side 1 inch. So many possibilities. Back to the sewing machine. We'll flip that one up, and we only need one little piece. This will work. Pretty pink piece, just like that. And we will flip that up. I'm going to give this a quick press with the iron, then I'll be back to trim it. And it looks like a hot mess, doesn't it? But once we square this up, it will be perfectly fine. I'll be taking my Stripology ruler and just placing it on that 6.5. Here is the 0 mark, and here is 6.5. And I'll go ahead and hit that 0 mark. Turn it around, put it on the 6.5 mark again, into the scrap pile, and here is our cute block. So easy and so fast if you don't go through all the fabrics like me, but if you are pulling them right out of the bin and putting them together, it goes together really fast. Next, we'll take our 4 blocks and you can put them together however you like. You could do all the stripes going one way, kind of like that, but these two match. Or you could do where you have diamonds in the center, like this. And actually, I think that's what I'm going to do. Just like that. I love this. What do you think? All right, so the next step, we're going to put these together. I think I'm going to use clips and these two, just right sides together on however you decided to put yours. I could do a whole quilt just like this. I just love it. And I certainly have enough scraps for that, right? 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'll be right back. How fun is this? I love it. And what I did when I pressed them, I pressed this seam to this side and then this seam to this side so that I can nest them when I go to sew them together. And that's the next step. So I will just put this together, the seams together, and they are nested just like that. And then I'll clip that. And they match up on the sides, for which I am thankful for. Quarter inch seam allowance. And here is our block. Let's see if I have room to trim. I do. Let's bring in our batting and our backing. Just like that. I am going to use some dots of glue to base this. Before I quilt it, I think I'll do squiggly lines again because I think I really like that, but you could do straight lines, however you want to quilt it. What a fun project, right? I will press that. I'm also going to do a little basting on this side. And just dots. And you can see I'm using leftover batting. We want to use up all our scraps. Let me give that a press. How pretty is that? So let me go and do some quilting on here. I'll come back and show you what I've done. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a Bible verse and a final thought to encourage you. The Bible verse is from Psalm 100, verses 4 and 5. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful to him and bless his name. For the Lord is good. His mercy is everlasting and his truth endures to all generations. Sometimes our creative moments are a quiet way of entering his presence, a simple thankful pause in the middle of life's noise. As you piece your strips together today, let your heart rest in gratitude. Remember, beauty doesn't come from perfection. It comes from presence, from being thankful for the time, the scraps, and the joy in your hands. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, and commenting. I can't thank you all enough. It truly means the world to me. And until the next video, God bless you.